Yeah, I don't know why everybody act like being single, especially for a woman, is such a problem. You know, they don't say that about us. They don't say that about men. But they act like being single is such a problem. I think being in a relationship and being made to feel like you're single is the problem. If we're going to talk about any problem related to a woman's singleness, let's talk about that. Or let's talk about how women in relationships are oftentimes better off if they were single than in relationships. We love to talk as if just being single is such this nightmare to be in. The real nightmare is whenever you're in a relationship with a man and he's the one you got to protect yourself from. Like, not having a man has never killed no woman. Having the wrong one has. I'd much rather you stay single because your standards are that high and you want to be in the right relationship than for you to just get out here and just do something because society says that you're so hopeless and you're no good if you single at age 30. But they never mention how many women didn't even make it to age 30 because they was in a relationship with a wrong man who was fighting demons and needed to work on himself and all the things that most intentionally single women are saying. That's why I'm not getting in that relationship. That's why I turned away from that man. That was the red flag that made me say, I'm going to go the other way. That's the exact reason. Anytime I talk to a woman and she's been single more than 6 months, it ain't because she ain't came across a single dude that would like to be in a relationship with her or she ain't attractive or nothing like that. It is because she's coming across men who have not put themselves in position to upgrade her quality of life from singleness. Y'all tell me if I'm tripping whenever I say that. Have y'all ever seen this? That's why these days it ain't even a problem for a woman to go 3 months, 6 months, a year being single, maybe even being celibate. It's easier than ever for women to be celibate these days. It's crazy. It's like we turning women all the way off. There's an alarming number of women who ain't even interested in dating at all. Lover girls now. Let me bring you guys closer. Lover girls. Girls that watch the romance movies. Girls that grew up saying, I would love to get married. I know exactly what wedding colors I want. I got an idea of who's going to be on my guest list. Those type of women are remaining single longer and longer. Y'all tell me, am I the only one that's seeing this? And it's not because they ain't good enough for no relationship. It's like, man, they done did all of this work to prepare themselves for something that other guys are just coming in and winging and doing a bad job at that. And doing a bad job at that. Let me see the comments. Y'all tell me, am I speaking facts? Have y'all seen the same thing that or am I just making stuff up? There are so many more women these days that are comfortable being single for longer periods of time, 3 months, 6 months. Sometimes it's a year or more. A year or more. And it's not because they're just not good enough. Now, let me say this quick little note. As a woman, if you've ever been guilted for saying enough is enough when somebody just kept crossing your lines, when somebody came unprepared or they just disregarded your boundaries, I want you to know, regardless of what society tries to tell you, you're not cold. You're not cold. That's called healing. Matter of fact, if you're watching this right now, my book, Don't Forget Your Crown, has helped thousands of women just like you find strength in their standards being high instead of being ashamed about them or feeling guilted or feeling judged, insult, whatever. If you want my book, Don't Forget Your Crown. It is on Amazon for $30, but just comment the word crown. I'll send it to you free. Yeah. If you're watching this right now and you can relate to anything I've said so far, if you're a woman who is intentionally single, disregard what they try to tell you. If you are intentionally single right now because your standards are high, you're just like the thousands of women who called my book, Don't Forget Your Crown, a blessing to read. I got 15 total. That's my best-selling one. But back to what I was saying. I'm trying to look at some of these comments as well. Okay, Kelly, you get what I'm saying. You picking up what I'm putting down. So I don't want to be on here long. But I think it's funny how we tell women that they're picky because they got standards, but we stay real quiet about the women who lowered theirs and they paid with their womb, by having a deadbeat dad, with their lives, with their safety, with opportunities in life. We real quiet about that. Society will pressure a woman to settle down real quick, but we never talk about the women who settled for less. And they ended up being brought down in life. Funny how that works. Here's the truth though. Your solitude is not a death sentence, but the wrong relationship can be. I know that's really dark, and I probably should have said trigger warning, but I just want to keep it real with you just for a second. Your standards, they're not too high. Behavioral standards of what you're being met with may just be too low. It's different if you coming across amazing men and you're the one that's not ready. You're the one that's sabotaging. At that point, I would absolutely say, oh, you need to tighten up, sis, get yourself together. But I've seen it over and over again. And then society tries to act like, being alone is just going to kill you. No, being with the wrong person might. Hopefully doesn't. I know, again, that's kind of dark. That's kind of heavy, but I want a group of people I can keep it real with. We coming up on Thanksgiving and you got family members asking you, when are you getting married? Those same family members are not going to ask how many women are no longer here with us today because of domestic violence or this issue or that issue. Society likes to treat singleness like it's some type of terminal illness, but it ignores toxic relationships that are literally terminal because of the stress that they cause. Call me what you want, but I think it's a lot better to be lonely at brunch than anxious at home, wondering if today's the day that man that you're with is going to snap. Call me what you want. Solitude that you choose, it beats fear that you can't escape. And I know, again, this is heavy, but Sunday mornings alone, it beats walking on eggshells in your own home. You wake up solo on the weekend. You make your coffee exactly how you like it. You plan your day without anybody's permission. Meanwhile, the next woman, she got to wake up every day calculating that man's mood, monitoring his triggers, adjusting her behavior to avoid his rage. And then people try to tell you that you're missing out on companionship while she's missing out on peace. Your bed might be half empty, but it's a lot better to be in that bed alone rather than be in that bed laying right up next to the wrong spirit. You gonna die alone. They love telling y'all that. But married women, a lot of times, not all the time, a lot of times, feel like they're dying inside while being partnered. Being in a relationship, even a marriage, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to die peacefully of old age. Matter of fact, the wrong relationship, the wrong marriage, that can actually shorten your life more than singleness ever could. They try to act like, oh, you gonna die alone is such a threat. Like it's just the worst fate imaginable. Like women aren't out here dying with their partners. I won't get too graphic, but can we just address the elephant in the room? I'll be the bad guy. Yeah, you're going to have nothing but cats in your house. A cat lady with 10 cats has a better survival odds than a woman with one wrong man. Anybody that's told that you're going to be with your cats, you're going to be the woman with the old cat lady. There's a reason why they say, oh, okay, the man or the bear, which one do you pick? If you're out and alone with the woods, with the man or the bear? And I'm not saying this to bash brothers, but I think at some point we just got to be honest. Like, why are we bashing women for being single? What is it we're really threatened by when a woman is single? I know pets cannot fully fulfill you in a romantic relationship. However, they're not going to plot against you either. All the crazy lady cat jokes, them cats don't got no criminal records. I got a DM from a sister not too long ago, and well, she had to be about 38, 39, 38. Anyway, she was getting pressure by her mother to give her grandkids. So when you gonna give me some grandkids, her mom would say. Now she was navigating something completely separate, but she, that was involved in it. Her mother just being heavily involved, and whether or not she was going to stay or get back in an old relationship with an ex or try to move on, which meant being single for a little while because now she had higher standards. Anyway, her mother was pressuring her. You need to go back to such and get me some grandkids. And I told her, ain't no good in you going back to such and such to give her some grandkids if you're not even going to be alive to raise them. Like, who gonna tell her? Family pressure prioritizes your reproductive potential over your survival potential. Don't nobody know what you be dealing with in those relationships. And if you ever dealt with a man and he started getting close to losing control of his anger, or he made little jokes, little remarks, and that was a red flag, you did the right thing by staying away from that man and any man going forward who had a similar pattern. You did the right thing. Some family members would rather you be partnered, even if it means being in danger, than to be single and safe. You'll be surprised at how many parents and grandparents are still trying to create a version of themselves based on how you live your life. And therefore, that's why they're so heavily invested in what you do with your life, because they're thinking about really how it reflects on them. But live your life for you. Your friends will pressure you too. Somebody say your friend. Yeah, your friends will definitely pressure you. Oh, well, the last guy, he was better than nothing. You wouldn't say poison is better than hunger, would you? Even your friends, they might be the ones pushing relationship junk food on you like it won't kill your soul. Something is better than nothing. It doesn't apply when that something is toxic. It doesn't. Not when it's dangerous. You listen to the wrong friends. They might encourage you to lower your standards. Date that guy with the red flags because at least he wants you. At least he paid for bill. At least he did this. Man, come on. They wouldn't tell you to eat spoiled food because at least it's available, would they? They wouldn't say drink contaminated water because at least it's wet and you thirsty, you parched. But they'll push contaminated men onto you like it won't poison your life. Make it make sense. They treat toxic relationships like they're better than healthy solitude. Make it make sense. Yes, the book. I pinned the comment already, but you can just comment the word crown. Yeah. It's on Amazon. I don't have the Amazon link. I thought maybe for those of y'all who are interested, like if you like my content, you're going to love my books. I mean, that's why they get so many reviews. I thought y'all would like a free copy of the book. Next time I'll try to, put the paid link in there if you just like Amazon that bad. But if you want the ebook and audiobook free, comment the word crown. I'll send it to you free. But back to what I was saying, man, when you single at 30, single at 40, 50, whatever, that means, and when I see that anyway, that means you survived what would have killed a lot of women at age 24. You've avoided some things. I don't look at it like you just missed out on all the good stuff. The good stuff is honestly the exception these days. It's hard. Even when two people aren't toxic, it's still difficult. But think of the amount of stuff, the amount of trauma, the amount of unhealed wounds, the amount of undiagnosed narcissism that's out here. I'm not trying to spook anybody from love because I think we all deserve a chance at love. It's a risk. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. Thank you, Rogers Omandi. Nothing is guaranteed. But I just want to reframe this because your singleness might be a byproduct of wisdom, not failure. Every year that you spend alone is another year you did not become a statistic. And I see a lot of y'all, you're holding shame and guilt because you're single. Again, this is another Christmas, another Thanksgiving, this is another birthday where you don't have this and don't have that, cuddle season, etc., etc. But this might be another year that you succeeded in avoiding a lot of stuff. That's how you should look at it. Dying alone in 50 plus years, judgmental relatives, no +1 for the weddings. I know that's not fun. But when you get with the wrong man, dying young, not in 50 plus years, could be any given Tuesday. Problematic in-laws. That's the thing to avoid. There's like this couples supremacy in our society though, where society values paired status over personal safety. Don't fall for it. Misery loves company. A lot of these people are unhappily married, unhappily in a relationship, and they want you to validate their choices. You over there single, they really wish they had the same courage and freedom to be single opposed to their relationship that they ended up getting in. I'm not talking about those that are happily married and they're in great, healthy relationships. They're flourishing. Every time you look at them, they're just glowing brighter. They're building businesses. They're getting closer to the Lord. Their children are healthy and happy. They're reaching fitness goals together. They're just evolving. I'm not talking about them. They exist as well. I'm not trying to paint marriages and relationships as if they're all bad. I'm in a relationship. Healthiest relationship I've ever been in. Might I say it might be the very first healthy one, but that's another story for another day. Largely because I'm a better contributor, but again, another story for another day. The point I'm making is you got to realize, or at some point you will, that being solo isn't synonymous with being sad. Being alone doesn't mean that you got to be lonely. Don't let people gaslight you into trying to force that type of reality on you like you need to fix that. At some point you discover that single means you're whole. You're not half waiting for completion. You're whole and you're still open to an upgrade. You're still open to overflow, but you're not out here incomplete, needing somebody to be that missing piece. Your standards aren't too high. It's just most likely you've seen what happens when they're too low. So you're okay being single a little bit longer until somebody comes and they can meet whatever standards that you have. Singleness isn't a failure. Again, it's evidence that you refuse to fail yourself if you can't prevent it. And it's crazy because you do enough living and you realize how many opportunities you had to prevent your failures in the past. The right relationship, again, that does exist. The right relationship, it will add to your life. It will not threaten to end it. It will not threaten to end it. Here's what they don't mention at all the family dinners. Intimate partner violence is a leading cause of death for women. They don't mention that. They're not going to talk about that. That's what they're going to skip at the bridal showers. Marriage to the wrong person, that can be a death sentence. They're not going to tell you that. And again, this is why I wrote my book. Don't forget your crown. This is why I wrote that. For single women who need to know and be reminded that their standards are saving their lives, not ruining them. It's not that that's the desired goal. It's just not as spooky as people try to make it out to be, like something you need to flee from. Because if all you're trying to do is just run away from your singleness, instead of qualifying the destination that you're reaching and the hands in which you're running into, that's when you end up in trouble. Yes, the book, Don't Forget Your Crown. I'm not even selling it to you. So I'll send you the link. The link is going to have access to my inner circle. That's my personal mentorship community. Okay. Normally it's an upfront cost, all that stuff. Right now, I'm allowing people to get in free. Even if you don't want the membership, you don't want to be a part of it, that's fine. There's no contract, cancel anytime. You get the books downloaded, ebook and audiobook inside, and you keep them forever for free. Again, if that sounds fair, comment the word crown. I'll send it to you. Free. I don't know how much easier it can be. No, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this, but I'm doing it today. So I would say hurry. But moral of the story is this. Again, being single, being without a man has never killed no woman. Being with the wrong one has. Plenty have unfortunately gone before their time. Plenty have missed out on major life opportunities. Plenty have become a shell of themselves because they were with the wrong man. Don't look at that solitude like it's some type of death sentence when really being with the wrong man can be. They'll call you picky because you're picking life over potential death, over purpose death. I get it. Your ring finger is empty. That's not so acceptable in our society. But your pulse is full. Society says that you are running out of time. You're 40 years old. When in reality, you're running out of patience for men who confuse love with ownership. That whole crazy cat lady thing, it beats being the pretty obituary. So keep your standards. Keep your standards. They are not walls. They are guardrails on a cliff, keeping you from going over. Choose the loneliness that leads to peace. Do not choose the partnership that leads to police. Single and breathing beats coupled and buried any day of the week. They can get mad at me all they want to. That's just the truth. Those are just my thoughts. If you feel like anything I said was true, find a little arrow down here and hit the share button. If you're not afraid to stand on that truth, find an arrow down here. Bless somebody else the same way you got blessed by this message. I'm your internet big bro. You know I got your back. And for all of my readers, that includes those of you who love audiobooks, if you like what you just heard, you're going to love my book, Don't Forget Your Crown. And again, for a limited time, I'm giving it away free to those who comment the word crown. I also put it down here in the comments, the pinned comment. Comment the word crown, and I got you for free. I'll let y'all be good. Peace.